Okay, I'm back. This is going to be quite a short video. I'm going to start off by showing you my oil pan, or sump. This I sandblasted, and I had to do it outside because whilst this fits in my cabinet, the blaster is got a small nozzle and would have taken me forever to do this. So there she is, nicely blasted, and also the internal part I blasted that as well, and as you can see they've both come out rather nice. And yeah, look at that, that's pretty darn good. I've got to decide on what to put on this, because otherwise it's just going to discolour again. I might, I'm not sure yet, might take it to powder coater and get them to perhaps put a clear coat on it. I want to keep it the same colour as it is. Don't really want silver powder coat on it, although I guess that would be acceptable. I just think maybe clear would be better, then it's more natural. And the next part of moving on the video is to do with the final tensioner that has arrived. Now, sitting here I can see bright light, and you probably can't see much. Let me get a light on the subject. Alright, now we've got some light on the subject. Sometimes you just have to think outside the box. Outside the box? That's alright, I can hear your laughter. There are four basic components to this tensioner. Guide. Obviously the locking tab, the slipper itself, and the two bolts. So let us see if we can get this on without too much difficulty. Yeah, I can see what I'm going to have to do here is probably start on the top, not the bottom. Reason being that the top has got a slot on it and it allows me to push things around a bit. You've got to watch that, it gets caught. There we go. Look at that. And down. Get this bolt in the bottom. Okay, look at that. That tension is there. Alright. So, I'm not going to waste your time. The next thing for me to do, once I've finished tightening up these bolts, make sure they're nice and tight, make sure these ones are nice and tight, and you don't want that pushing against it, otherwise it's just going to get worn away. You just want it kind of gently resting up against it. And the same goes with this one. Once I take this out, which you must do before you put this timing chain cover on, what else have I got to do here? Well, there is a Woodruff key to go on there, but I don't want that one in at the moment, and the reason you don't want that one in is when you slide the timing cover on, it has a seal on it, and if you had that Woodruff key in there, it would tear the seal. So just be careful of those kind of things. Think about what you're going to do. You know, sometimes it pays just to sit there and look at it and go through it in your mind. I tend to do that when I'm lying in bed at night trying to fall asleep. I'm thinking, okay, so tomorrow I've got to do this, I've got to do that. Now let's see. And often or not, you go, oh, yeah, oh, I must be careful of that. And then, of course, you do actually have to remember that when you come to work on the vehicle the next day. All right, guys, I will show you, well, I'll show you once I've bent all the tabs over. And that's all done, ready to put the timing cover on with the seal. And just to show you the the unit I use to blast the oil pan and the inner part, and also anything else large that you need to blast. And I buy snap-on tools mainly, but sometimes you need a quick dirty fix, and Harbour Freight is a great place for that, as I mentioned a few times. $139, well, basically $140 if you like to be realistic, plus tax, of course. So it was well worth it, but of course you do need a compressor in order to use this beast. But that's what I used, and the hood is a little inadequate. I purchased another hood that they had for like $20 odd, I think it was, which was much better than that thing that they have there on the next to it. It's just not very good in my book. However, that's the beastie. Just thought you might like to see what I used on the blaster, and it really did work. That didn't take me more than about 20 minutes to get the oil pan done, and then probably about 10 minutes to get this inner baffle done. Well worth it if you have a compressor. If you don't have a compressor, then you'll need to find a different method to clean up the oil pan, and maybe just take it to somebody. Those observant ones of you will have noticed that when I had this on the block, I had the tab on the wrong way round. What you say? How possible is that? I know, it's shocking. I had it this way round. You see, just like that. And look, that, I know it's going to be bent out of the way, but that could possibly cause a problem with the slipper or the tensioner. So do make a note of that, that it goes that way round. That way you don't have an issue. You see? Oops, hang on a second, let me get that in there. There you go, you see, nowhere near it now. Alright, now it does give me the opportunity to show you something that I meant to show you, and that is, there is that little hole there in the slipper, and it's a good idea to check that it's there. You know, these are manufactured wherever they are, and sometimes they get forgotten. And that is what feeds the oil. This plate goes on the back, and do make sure you can see that hole when you put this plate on the back. The oil comes through here, into this hole here, and out here, lubricating the chain. Now, of course, there is oil around here, but it also lubricates the tensioner at the same time. Should that tensioner not have any oil, as I've mentioned before, you can imagine the disaster that happens, because the tensioner gets dry and then seizes and no longer tensions the chain. Alright, time for me to put this on properly now. Don't make the mistakes I do. At least try not to. Alright, tabs are all bent over, at least as far as I can go. It's very difficult to get this one here, but I'm not worried because I've got this one on it and I've got these two down here. I don't anticipate that coming undone. I got a couple of chips here that I created when doing this, so I'm going to touch that up before I put this cover on. One other thing to note is when you're doing the guide here, it's difficult to get a wrench on there, so get yourself one of these. It's a crow's foot. And obviously it just fits in very nicely into your wrench and then onto the nut, and whoosh, turn it and whoosh, turn it. I can't demonstrate that right now because I've bent the tabs over and obviously the wrench won't fit on there, but don't forget to do that. If you leave these loose, that will be a disaster. So my next task here is I'm going to touch up these little paint places. Make sure the surface here is nice and clean, ready for the gasket goo, and I am going to put gasket goo on there. I'm not sure which one I'm going to use yet, probably the black, as that seems to be one of the better ones. Think that is probably about it. I did see a little tip on a video which I'm going to copy, and that is in the bottom of the timing chain, a timing cover. Get the collar that goes on here and put it over the seal, and then put the seal into the timing cover, and then put it all on at once. And that's another good reason for leaving this off. So we'll see how that goes. I'll give it a shot. It'll either work or it won't. But you'll see me do it, and you'll see me screw it if it doesn't. Alright, that's enough today. Touch up the paint. Next job, put on the timing cover. Alright, I'm going to now do the last part of this particular video before this cover goes on, and that is to clean up this cover, polish it, decide somehow to seal that shine on so that I don't have to do anything. That will probably be just clear lacquer, although I may powder coat it. This is small enough that it will fit in my oven, so I may well powder coat it. I've got some clear powder coat, and that is a lot more durable than the lacquer. And in fact, as I'm saying it, I've decided that's definitely what I'm going to do. I'm definitely going to powder coat this. Now, it's got a lot of cleanup that needs doing. Inside is not bad, actually. Just got to clean up the mating surfaces here and polish this up as best I can. I don't have very small buffing wheels, I guess is the want of the word. So I've got to figure that out. I may, oh no, I may have to take a trip to Harbour Freight to spend some more money. Yum yum. Got to try and do something about this. I'll probably have to sand this now. And although it looks nice and shiny at the moment, when I sand it and sand it flat, that'll make it a lot better. And although that introduces scratches, then you go and buff like crazy. I'm not going to get perfection on this, I know that, but I want to get it pretty close, and obviously get all this crap out of here. So that is where we're going to end this particular video. The next video will be the start of me putting this on, I guess, which will not be for a few days, because this is going to take a while to get cleaned up. I will now edit this video. Wish you all a happy Christmas. Yes, I know, it's March. And with all this coronavirus shit, I am sick and tired of hearing about it. We know it's there, we know it's bad, we know it's terrible, but there is other news, I'm sure. Just somebody, let's have a cure. No good being tested if I ain't got a damn cure for it. Alright. Sorry, starting on my soapbox again. That's not allowed. Alright. End of this video. Wish you all well.